Yo, what is up? It's your boy Cheese and welcome to this brand new Assassin's Creed Valhalla video. I played the game for over 50 hours already, and next to all the helpful guides, I also wanted to upload a review for the game. Make sure to hit the like on the video if you want to see more Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and obviously become a subscriber of the channel. Before we start up this video, I really want to say thank you so much Ubisoft for giving me all your games early right here on the channel, and let's get right into the video. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla is all about Vikings, which you probably already knew, and the game starts off in Norway. When you are in Norway, the first things that you will be able to do is obviously play some parts of the story, which will obviously not spoil right here in this video. But what I can already tell you is that the combat, the environment in Norway looks absolutely stunning. For example, you can look at the snow, at the water, everything is so sprinkly detailed, and I'm actually playing it right here on my PlayStation 4, and I can't wait to play it on the PS5. So the story of Assassin's Creed Valhalla is really well done. I'm not going to give you any spoilers in this video, but what I can say is that I really like the character models, and also the storytelling in the game has been done very well. So the climbing and the parkour in this Assassin's Creed Valhalla game are really similar to all the other Assassin's Creed games. So a lot of you guys ask me Cheese, is this still an Assassin's Creed game? And I gotta say, yes, it really is. And even later on in the game, there will also be assassins without getting too much into detail. So in the first 1 or 2 hours playing the game, I was actually playing the game as the female Eivor, but I noticed I wasn't really a fan of that for some reason. Maybe it was the voice acting, or maybe it just didn't look as badass as the male character in the game though. But yeah, I later on changed it to the male character and it all felt a whole lot better. I think the male voice acting is a whole lot better than the female voice acting. I also think that the Vikings are not coming across as brutal at all in any of the cutscenes, which is really weird and it feels a bit off, but in the rating that is completely different. So after just a few hours of playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and if you are really focused on the main story, you can already go to England. So England as well as Norway are two specific maps that have a lot of collectibles, and you can swap between them anytime you want to. So now that the Vikings are moving from Norway to England because they have better land, there is a whole lot of wealth, and also they just really want to settle there. They are actually building a settlement that you can improve one by one, and for that you have to collect a lot of materials. So as you go around the world of Assassin's Creed Valhalla in Norway or England, you will notice very quickly that the game is insanely big. The map is insanely big. There is a whole lot to explore. There are multiple locations that you have to go to in order to find treasure. You can find wealth, artifacts, you can find mysteries. There is just so much to do in the open world of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Just like in the original games, you can synchronize spots to fast travel really quickly, and it's also possible for you to find yourself abilities in the open world. Collecting the abilities will be very useful in combat. You have ranged abilities as well as melee abilities, and are helping you quite a lot in the middle of a fight. So in terms of combat, I think that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is not something over the top original. You obviously are able to use two different melee weapons at the same time. You can hold a shield or an axe, or you can just double wield two axes. So there is actually double wielding, there are a lot of abilities, and there's a lot of weapons to find in the game, but the combat itself is not that big of a deal. So for me, the most fun I had, I actually got it out of the main story of the game, as well as raiding places, which is pretty awesome. Take your longship and you take everyone with you, and you actually raid these places and loot everything that you can find. While raiding, you collect yourself materials for your settlement, as well as for your armor and your weapons to be upgraded, but you gotta keep in mind as well that you also have XP, and this is where combat level comes into play. As you can see, I'm using my skill points in order to higher my combat level, and I can choose myself what skills I want to improve on my skill tree. So every single region has its own suggested power level. For example, right here I am in a suggested suggested power level 130. Some raids can be extremely hard in these suggested power levels, just basically meaning that the suggested power level shows you how hard the enemies are to kill. But still, some raids can be small, but they can also be very big cities. So it's still pretty hard to know if you can take on these villages though, but at the same time, you can go ahead and try it out, and if it doesn't work, you can always come back later. And the finishers in this game are so freaking satisfying. If you hit an enemy on the one or multiple weak spot that the enemy has, you can go in for a finisher, and damn, that is so satisfying. So you can get a lot of loot from the places that you raid, but also in the open world, there is a whole lot of wealth to collect. You will actually need to go ahead and figure out how to get that wealth by completing puzzles. And at the beginning, I was really struggling with this, but I noticed really quickly how the game is supposed to be playing. But then I noticed that it got really repetitive. I think to have the most fun while playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you have to mix things up for yourself. Do not only go for the wealth for hours and hours, alright? Before the release of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ubisoft actually said that they were not going to drop a game that was that big as they previously did. I am really not a fan of how many collectibles there are in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The map is literally packed, and obviously there is a lot of content for $60. Don't get me wrong, it is a really good game, but in some aspects I think they have been going more for quantity than they went for quality. And I know a lot of you guys actually want to dive in and play this game for hundreds of hours, and that is actually what you will be needing if you actually want to do everything there is in the game. So it would be weird to say that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a bad game because there is too much to collect, because you can obviously decide if you want to collect all of these items yourself. So is Assassin's Creed Valhalla a perfect game? Surely it isn't. There are quite a few things that I really didn't like about the game. The camera zoomed out really far in big battles, and also characters were running around each other like madmen. I got to be honest, there were quite a few times when I really raged and I wanted to throw my controller out of the window, and this is one of these moments. Is Assassin's Creed Valhalla worth playing? You obviously want to know. For me, that's a yes. Is Assassin's Creed Valhalla better than any Assassin's Creed game we had so far? I think Black Flag is still my favorite Assassin's Creed from the entire series. The music, the scenery, the story, the exploring, there is a lot to do in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I really don't like the way they put the game just going here, doing that, going here, doing that over and over again. Really repetitive, actually giving the same thing over and over again. So like I said, I played the game for 50 hours. There is a lot of filler, and I don't like that. I feel like 70% of the game is actually filler and 30% of the game is actual content. It's just way too repetitive, but I will stop complaining about how much filler there is, because we can obviously do what we want to do in the game. You make the choices yourself. I really hope the next Assassin's Creed game is going to be a bit smaller, more compact, more effective, and more quality in a sense. Obviously, this game is very good, and I will actually give it a 7. Obviously, you don't have to do everything, but the quantity really ruined my experience. Otherwise, I would probably give the game an 8 or even higher. Obviously, this is my experience playing the full game. It could be completely different for you. If you actually played the game, let me know down below in the comments what you think of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Don't forget to hit the like on the video if you found this video helpful in any way, and check out yet another Assassin's Creed video. This has been your boy Cheese. I am out. Peace.